The marketplace on Station Kepler 442 bustled with 1,000 different species, each hawking their wares under the artificial sun of the biodome. Coulson walked through the crowds with his daughter Scotty perched on his shoulders, her small hands gripping his hair as she giggled at the colorful alien merchants. "Daddy, look, a real Zentari fruit." Scotty pointed excitedly at a stall displaying bioluminescent produce. Coulson smiled, adjusting his grip on her ankles. "Maybe on the way back, sweetheart. We need to find Mom's birthday present first." As they navigated deeper into the bazaar, Coulson noticed something unusual. Tucked between two massive vendor stalls sat a tiny figure, no larger than a house cat, with iridescent scales that shifted from deep purple to silver in the light. The creature had small, folded wings and a long, whip-like tail that curled protectively around a meager collection of items spread on a tattered cloth. A dragon hatchling. Coulson had read about them in the xenobiology databases. The Draconis were an ancient, proud species, powerful, long-lived, and notoriously protective of their young. To see one alone, selling trinkets in a station marketplace, was deeply wrong. "Scotty, hold on tight," Coulson murmured, kneeling beside the small dragon. The hatchling looked up with eyes too old for his young face, amber irises that held a universe of loneliness. His scales were dull from malnutrition, and his wings trembled slightly from exhaustion or cold. Coulson couldn't tell which. "Hello there," Coulson said softly. "Are you selling these?" The dragon nodded, his voice a whisper like wind through crystals. "Yes, human. Very fine toys. Very old. Only 3 credits." Scotty leaned down from her father's shoulders, her own eyes wide. "Are those yours?" The hatchling's tail twitched. "Were mine. Now for sale. Must eat." Coulson's chest tightened. The toys were clearly precious belongings. A small carved stone that glowed faintly with what might have been family magic, a miniature ship model crafted with incredible detail, and what looked like a memory crystal, the kind dragons used to store ancestral knowledge. "Where are your parents?" Coulson asked gently. The hatchling's scales rippled, turning a deep, sad blue. "Gone. Ship accident. 3 cycles ago." "I wait. They not come back." Scotty gasped softly. "Daddy." Coulson knew that tone. His daughter had inherited his bleeding heart, the one that had led them to adopt 3 rescue animals back on Earth and volunteer at the refugee center every weekend. But this was different. This was a sentient being, a child of a species humanity had only just begun to understand. "How have you been surviving?" Coulson asked. "Sell things. Sleep in warm vents. Station security chase sometimes, but I hide good." The hatchling's stomach growled audibly, a sound like distant thunder. He looked away, embarrassed. Coulson made a decision that would change 3 lives forever. "How about this?" he said, pulling out his credit chip. "I'll buy everything you have here, but I need you to do something for me in return." The hatchling's eyes narrowed with sudden wariness, the survival instinct of a child who had learned not to trust easily. "What want? Come have dinner with us. My wife Natasha makes the best synthetic steak in 3 systems, and we have a spare room at our quarters." "I not charity case," the dragon said, his small chest puffing out with fragile pride. "Of course not," Coulson replied seriously. "I'm offering a trade. Dinner and a safe place to sleep in exchange for your company. My daughter here has been begging for stories about Draconis culture, and I suspect you know quite a few." It was a gentle lie, but Scotty caught on immediately. "Yes. Are dragons really born knowing how to fly? And is it true you can breathe in space?" The hatchling blinked, confused by the sudden shift. "I, not yet no flying. Too young. But yes, adult dragons breathe vacuum. We are star children, born of cosmos itself." "See," Coulson said, smiling. "Already worth at least 3 dinners worth of information. What do you say?" The dragon looked between the human man and his daughter, searching their faces for deception or cruelty. He found only genuine warmth, the kind he hadn't felt since his parents' scales had last wrapped around him in the safety of their ship. "1 dinner," he said carefully. "Then I go." "1 dinner," Coulson agreed, knowing full well he'd find a way to extend the invitation. That he transferred 50 credits for the dragon's belongings, far more than asked, and carefully gathered them in a bag. Then he held out his hand, palm up, in the universal gesture of peace and assistance. The hatchling stared at the hand for a long moment. His species didn't touch casually. Physical contact was reserved for family, for bonds deeper than words. But something in this human's steady gaze, in the daughter's bright smile, made him want to believe again. Slowly, the dragon placed his small, clawed hand in Coulson's palm. It was surprisingly warm, like holding a piece of refined starlight. "I am called Zarthax, son of Mordex and Selena," he said formally, using the traditional introduction of his people. "I'm Coulson, and this is Scotty. Welcome to our family, Zarthax, for however long you'll have us." As they walked through the marketplace together, the human father, his daughter, and the dragon hatchling, Zarthax felt something he thought he'd lost forever in the cold of space. Not just warmth, though Coulson's hand provided that. Not just safety, though Scotty's chatter promised that too. Hope. Later, Natasha would laugh through her tears when Coulson brought home their unexpected guest. The spare room would be converted with heat lamps and mineral supplements that dragons needed. Scotty would insist on reading bedtime stories to Zarthax, who would pretend they were only for her benefit, not his own. And in the years to come, when Zarthax grew into his full size and power, when his scales shone like polished amethyst and his wings could carry him between stars, he would tell anyone who asked that humanity's greatest strength wasn't their technology or their adaptability, that IT was their uncanny ability to see a stranger and call them family. To give warmth where there was cold, to offer home where there was only survival. That, Zarthax would say with pride in his rumbling voice, was the true measure of humanity, and he would know, because a human father had once knelt in a marketplace, looked past species and difference, and seen only a child who needed saving, just as all the best parents do.